You listened to him on the KVJ show for years. Every time he tried to talk sports, he'd get shut down. After years of begging, we finally gave in. Brought to you by Bremen Motor Cars in West Palm and Jupiter. A world-class experience. Visit BremenBMW.com. And by Wellington Anti-Aging. Low T? Go to WellingtonAntiAging.com. It's Kevin's Other Show on 640 The Hurricane.
Great weekend of sports. Lots of good stuff going down. Got to go check out a little bit of spring training action the other day. Verlander, Strasburg, pretty good little day.
How was that?
It's a pretty good little matchup. I mean, they have them clearly on like a 40 pitch count, and they're gone. I'm not even sure if it was like their first games of the season, but they were in and out pretty quick. But it's just pretty amazing just to see both those guys work, man. The mastery of just watching what they do through the entire count. You're just like, I mean, yeah, you think about that as a batter, like what it would be seeing that, anything from like, an 80 mile per hour, like, a changeup coming in, the sliders like from Strasburg were like going 85 and then it hits you with 97.
Yeah.
And you're just like,
it's always so cool when you see that, when it's like something that is marveled at in sports, you get to watch it live. I remember watching Syracuse take on Miami Hurricanes in basketball down here, and watching that zone defense live was such a magical thing to watch in that type of situation.
It's a different, when you're there, you get an appreciation for it. And that's one of the things about seeing live sports over TV. And a lot of times I found so many more different advantages lately over watching it on TV with the announcers and everything, but you just miss the physicality of it.
Yeah.
Strasburg is enormous.
He's a big guy, right?
He is huge. Like and you don't get that for that depth, that perception when you're, not seeing him in person. When you do, and you're seeing those pitches and you're watching, you're like going, there's zero chance I would hit this. I mean, there's zero chance I could ever. I mean, I wouldn't give myself 1% chance.
It's that bad, right? When you see it live, you can just tell.
It's unbelievable. Yeah. I mean, and you see what happens. Even when you take other athletes that are in there with great eye-hand coordination, a phenomenal shape. I don't know if you guys saw what Tebow did with, or what I should say, what Scherzer did with Tebow.
I was gonna say.
I mean, it wasn't the other way around. I mean, it's just unbelievable. He gets up there and takes 3 pitches in 49 seconds, and
49,
he's gone.
Yep.
49 seconds it takes Max Scherzer to strike out Tim Tebow.
I feel like this is how it would go for me. Like if I went in spring training one day and it was like an experience, go against Max Scherzer, see how you do. I would get struck out in 49 seconds.
No, you see that. So, that's why I looked at that. I'm like, I would have a 0% chance if he were trying of getting a hit off. There's no way. Even making contact. I saw that. I was like, he went 80 mile an hour, and then the next pitch is 97. Like, how do you adjust for that?
So mean.
How do you get ready for that?
You can't. And it's amazing, too, right? Like, when you're at a game live, whether it's baseball or football, and you can just tell that there are certain guys on the field who are so much better than everybody else.
Yeah.
And they're all professional athletes. That's the thing that really gets you when you think about it. They're just that much better.
There are some people when you see the physicality. First time I saw LeBron in his first run with Cleveland, it was they were playing the Heat, and I was just like, I mean, when you see him, you're just like,
he's a monster.
It's unbelievable. You can't be that big and be that agile and jump the way you do. It's just, I mean, it's off the charts.
I remember, I'll never forget this story when LeBron was being recruited down here during that summer when he made, his big choice and all that.
Yeah.
Mickey Arison said in an article after they got LeBron, when he first met LeBron during that process, he went over and shook his hand, and Alonzo Mourning was in the room too to help along with, bringing him down here.
Yeah.
And Mickey Arison was like, I'll never forget looking over and looking at Zoe and looking at LeBron and thinking, oh my gosh, they're the same size. They're the same size. And just to have a guy like that who can do what he does.
In that size of body.
It's wild.
Yeah, and you don't get that if you're not watching it live. Yeah,
it's true.
Crazy stuff. It is kind of interesting. What do you think about the spring training experiments that happen all over the place? You used to have once upon a time. Now it's the Tebow experience. Now you got Russell Wilson. I don't know if you saw him taking a couple at bats.
Yeah.
But he was in there taking a couple. I didn't even see how he did. I saw the one at bat, and it looked like he was, again, just way behind it.
Just trying to catch up with the pitch, pretty much.
He's not doing it all year, too. His head's someplace else.
Exactly.
So.
There's no way. That's why they had these cute experiments that happen in spring training, and we always talk about the novelty of that player. Tebow, maybe a tad more than a novelty, but not much.
But, he struck out in 49 seconds last year against Scherzer. He went out in 41 seconds. So This is not even a
no.
new thing. He actually elongated his record against Max Scherzer.
Oh, good. So he
by
lasted
8
longer.
Seconds.
Good for him. So he's making progress.
He
T-Bone.
is. I mean, eventually he'll get up there. Max Scherzer will be retired by that time, but he'll get up there.
Yeah, cute or not cute, I don't know. Russell Wilson. Did you hear the move that he made, I guess, when he was packing it back up and headed to Seattle? He was giving an autographed game ball to, like, all of his teammates that he was playing with for baseball. Is that a cool move, or is it like going, yeah, I don't know.
I was going to say, is that kind of douchey, or is that cool? Like, thinking...
I mean, yeah. You autograph a team ball and give it to your own team?
It's kind of douchey, right?
Like, it's the Yankees, you dope.
I mean, is Stanton in that locker room? Like, is he giving Stanton an autographed Russell Wilson football? Does Stanton care about that?
If it's a weird thing about it, if it's a football, I don't know.
It was a baseball, correct?
If it's a weird thing, if it's a baseball, it's douchey. I think if it's a football, it's cool.
Is it cool?
Yeah, all right.
I think it's cool.
Like give out like jerseys.
I think
or
it's
something
better
like that.
than what Jeter used to do. At least the rumors. Do you hear about that? When he used to like
Yes.
hook a chick, like in the next
Oh,
morning,
the
he
gift
had
baskets.
the Jeter gift basket with like an autographed ball and a bobblehead doll, and that's what you get.
Could you imagine?
Now that's douchey,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
That's way douchey.
Oh, and nobody thought Jeter was a jackass prior, I guess.
Yeah.
I guess that was kind of an indication when you give the women you have one-night stands with a gift basket with their memorabilia.
Telltale sign. ladies
Okay,
and
are you
gentlemen.
legitimately like going, oh, cool, that's awesome? Or are you like going, wow, really?
No, you have to. Like, your reaction has to be, are you serious, dude? You're giving me an autographed baseball?
Yeah, all that. Well, because, I mean, what are they thinking? They're thinking, they're like thinking about how their name sounds with Jeter at the end of
Yeah.
it. That's what they want. They don't want a freaking bobblehead doll.
How many women thought that?
There
All
were a
of them.
few. If you
of them.
look at his dating resume, unbelievable.
Hefty. It's just
I
like
mean-
he's all-star teams.
I would say, as far as dating resumes, Derek Jeter, one of the greatest of all time. Now, you've got a few. You've got Derek Jeter, you got Wilmer Valderrama,
Sure.
John Mayer,
Yeah.
and oddly enough, the fat guy from Counting Crows,
Really?
who had a great dating resume, especially in the 90s. He went through like half the Friends cast.
Huh.
Yeah.
Oh, I think you're right. Right. He was with Jennifer Aniston at one point,
Absolutely.
wasn't he?
And
so was
Courtney
John Mayer.
Cox, different times.
Yes.
Oh, my God. That's right.
I
Yeah.
forgot about that. Yeah, he's got the dreads. I can't remember his first. Adam something.
Yeah, Duritz.
Yes. There you go.
Yeah.
From Counting Crows.
He is not a good-looking fella.
No, he's
Not
not.
to pull what he did, no.
I
Not
mean,
to pull the tail
What
he
did he do?
Derek Jeter, Adriana Lima,
He wins.
Minka Kelly,
Oh, man.
Jessica Alba,
Jeez.
Mariah Carey,
Scarlett Johansson.
Stop. Really? Scarlett
Jordana
Johansson's on the-
Brewster,
Wow.
Jessica Biel.
Oh. Yeah.
Okay, so Jessica Biel. So if you're Justin Timberlake, do you ever ask about her days with him, or is it just one of those things in a relationship where it's like, I don't want to know, we're not going to talk about it?
You got to be curious, right? Like if I'm Justin Timberlake in that relationship, you're married,
You
you've
don't
been married a
ask.
few years, you have a kid. I don't know. I'm curious.
I would be really
I'm
worried if I was
curious.
him and you like go into their closet and she still has the gift bag or
Yeah,
something
well,
like
I mean,
that.
that's probably the one that's still on her dating resume, because I think you all know, like, okay, who has, my girl been with? And there's probably maybe one or two she has on her dating resume, especially if it's high profile, you're going to know. If you're Justin Timberlake, the Derek Jeter mark that she's got there, you're still a little concerned about that.
Yeah.
Not that you're worried about her going back, but you don't feel great
That's a
about it.
tattoo you can't unsee.
You don't feel great about it because
Yeah,
you know she had
not
an
really.
amazing time. Everything was awesome, I'm sure. Tyra Banks.
Really?
He's got on there. Yeah. Vanessa
Wow.
Manillo.
Right.
Saw that one.
I mean, it's unbelievable.
It's so funny the amount of
It's so
they
extensive.
call it the bracket of beauties.
The bracket of beauty. He has his own bracket. Derek Jeter has his own bracket.
Well,
That
it's like who's not on it? I mean, it's arguably more impressive than his playing career.
No, I think you're right. Like that is a really good discussion to have. What's more impressive?
I know
his
you got
list
several
or his
World
playing?
Series. I know, you're the captain. I get it
And-
all. But, man, that's an amazing list.
And
Yeah.
he was able to keep himself really out of the tabloids with any of
You're
them.
right,
Like,
yeah.
not really got in trouble with any of them. How do you do that?
All those are unbelievable stories. You would want to hear all the sordid details of every single girl we just mentioned.
Every single one.
And there's no stories. There's nothing.
He had both Jessicas. Like when guys have a
I know.
conversation, which Jessica would you want? He had both.
How
Wait,
does
he
that
dated
happen?
Gabrielle Union, too?
Wow.
Yeah, I did. I wouldn't doubt it. The better list is who did Derek Jeter not date
My lord.
in the day? It's amazing. It's probably number one. I know Wilmer Valderrama is impressive. John Mayers isn't bad. He's slowed down in time, but I don't think he can beat Derek Jeters.
I mean,
Arguably arguably the greatest of all time. The greatest we've ever had.
I think so. I mean, this list is it's insanity.
Yeah. No, it's impressive.
I hate it even more now.
I'm going to get red flagged on this.
Yeah, you
website.
are. You really
I
need
gotta
to
get off of this thing.
Get yourself in
Not
trouble.
good.
It's pretty impressive stuff.
It really is. Holy crap.
So you had a little bit of spring training action going on this weekend. I don't know what the highlights were for you. One for me, and it made me feel a little bit better. Did you see Giancarlo Stanton get hit by that fly ball?
Oh, boy.
Stop.
He was going for a fly ball in left field, and I think it was the sun, but he lost it, and it just comes down and drills him right in the side.
Oh, no.
And it made me feel slightly better because now the stories are out there about, like, is he going to be a liability for the Yankees in left field? Should he just DH? So they're already talking about yanking him.
That is probably the best thing that could have happened for Yankee spring training, right? Just storyline-wise, just to create something to talk about.
That's the one thing, if you talk about the Yankees this year, where if they have any chance of, like, not winning at all, it's the fact that there's the pressure, and that kind of shows you that any little just whatever is going to become a big story because they're going to be like, oh, now so if anybody, let's say, Judge starts going through the whole thing where he's striking out a long streak like that.
Yeah.
It's going to be the big storyline. So imagine two of the Yankees' first four in that lineup start having any kind of problems whatsoever, will that be enough to get in their heads? Because they're expecting so much that will they crush under the weight of the expectations? That's the only hope I have as a Marlins guy, sad to see Stanton go, is that the Yankees crumble underneath the expectations.
And it could happen. I mean, obviously they have the talent, and it actually really reminds me of how the Heat came together, right? When LeBron and Wade and Bosh, and they had all that pressure and everything on top of them. But now you have the media up in New York, which is, I mean, tenfold what is down here in Miami.
That's going to be different. You're right. That is going to be way different for Stanton, is having to deal with that New York media. I mean, from what you hear, and he doesn't have Jeter there to guide him, but that seems to be a different factor playing in that market and having to deal with that kind of pressure from what he saw in Miami, where you would draw 3,000 people a night.
Well,
That's
because
true.
Miami was only created, media-wise, was only created because of LeBron.
Yeah.
And then after he left, nobody cared again.
Yeah.
Simple Miami.
What's that going to be like?
Yeah, exactly. It's going to be very, very different.
And one thing they're going to do, which is, I guess, what they're doing now after he gets hit with the ball, is he a liability in the outfield? They are going to pick apart every single little thing from every single game and trying to make a big story about it, because that's what they did with the Heat.
That's already the headline today.
That's
is
amazing.
Stanton a liability in left field for the Yankees?
He lost the ball in spring training.
He got hit by one ball, and already he's a liability in left field.
I love it.
Wow.
And so it begins, and it's still spring training.
Yeah.
NFL Combine, one of the big stories going on. A couple athletes that absolutely crushed it.
Yeah.
And a coach says that he would fully punch himself in the nuts to get this player. We'll tell you all about it coming up next.
Can't wait to break down last night's game? Yeah, not. It's Kevin's Other Show on 640 The Hurricane.
You want to talk about pressure, man. This NFL Combine, just knowing that with everything you do, millions of dollars are on the line.
Yeah.
Some are making it, some are losing it. And you're just like, if you're one of the ones that lost it and you're like going, my 40 time was awful, or my bench press was atrocious, how much money are these people losing? And then on the positive side, how much are these people making? How much money did Saquon Barkley just make over the weekend with his bench press, with his 40 time, with his vertical leap? I mean, numbers that were absolutely just off the charts.
I knew he was going to be good, but then obviously when you put into the situation, but it's like, yes, you make lots of money off of what these things you could be able to do in a controlled environment. When the environment's not controlled, who knows? That's why I always so very careful about the combine.
I think, what's going on with Saquon Barkley, though, this is a guy that produced against really great competition.
Yes.
Yeah.
And there were some games where he did disappear. At running back, the weird thing about it is a kick returner, though, he was always big. Opening kickoff against Ohio State, arguably the biggest game that they had. He runs the opening kickoff back. He did show in some bigger games. Now, he didn't have, I don't even think he cracked 100 yards. I think he had about 60 yards rushing in that game. So you might say, okay, some big games, like he just kind of disappeared at running back, but that's the big argument. He might have earned himself the #1 pick and tons of money.
Yeah.
And then you got the Browns, who I just can't wait to see how they're going to screw it up. You wouldn't think, how could you when you got the number 1 and the number 4 pick? But they're going to completely screw it up somehow.
I really think this is probably no. It's going to happen.
It seems like it's a surefire. There's no way you could screw this up, but it's Cleveland. They will find a way. Both picks will be a bust.
Oh, absolutely. There's no question.
That's
in my
why
mind.
it almost feels like a curse if they do go with Saquon Barkley. You're just like going, all right, it's Kajana Carter.
Here we go again. Yes.
Well, see, now Barkley's being very nice about it. He's saying, oh, it'd be great to go to the Browns, which is very rare because most people are like, I do not want to go to the Browns by any means necessary.
Because it's the right thing to say. He's a calibrated guy. He's a smart guy. He's a nice guy, but he gets it, and they understand. I mean, what you say a lot of times has about as much to do with how many reps you're throwing up in the bench press, what your 40 time is. Because they listen for that stuff. They're like going, okay, they're going to be a bad teammate. Psst, that's going to cost you.
Yeah.
You know? So you got to say the right things.
It's a tough road in Cleveland, though.
Yeah.
Especially if they take him number 1 overall. It's like, who are they going to get for quarterback at that point in time? Are they going to have to go? I mean, when's their next pick?
I mean,
They
at
got
4, right?
1 and 4. Yeah, 1 and 4. And so maybe a running back quarterback combo possibly, but I mean, still, you bring in 2 rookies and then you've got questions at every other position, you know.
And you talk about pressure.
Yeah.
The combine, if you bring in 2 rookies, let's say they take Sam Darnold at number 4 and Saquon ends up going number 1. Now you have 2 rookies that you're expecting to lead your franchise.
It's a lot to put on you.
It is. I mean, you're coming off of 0-16, so there's really no more to go as far as down.
Yeah.
I mean, if you win a game, you're a hero at this point in Cleveland.
Yeah.
But, man.
Well, the word is out about Saquon Barkley. Apparently, he almost seems to be like the no-brainer. One NFL assistant said, I would punch myself in the nuts to draft Saquon Barkley.
He really wants him.
I mean,
He really wants Saquon Barkley.
Big fan.
That's what they're saying. They say he's firmly in the mix to be number 1. And they say, as many of you probably already know, he'd be the first back taken in the top selection since Kajana Carter, another Nittany Lion back in 1995 that, I think he came right out and tore an ACL, did he not?
Yeah, it didn't work out well for him. He went to Cincinnati, I believe, if I remember correctly.
He did. I think he finished his career with just like 1,000 yards, came back a little bit, but, it was in an era where the ACL surgeries weren't as good as they are now.
Right.
So, some people shy away from exactly calling him a bust, but, nobody's taking running backs anymore.
It's very rare to take it that high.
Yeah, I mean, Ezekiel Elliott, number 4 pick with the Cowboys, and you arguably could say after what you saw this year when he was suspended, I mean, that wasn't a waste of a number 4 pick.
No, it isn't. You just got to be really careful because they're how expendable. Not expendable.
How many? Well, the hits, you're right. I mean, I think that's what it is. The physicality of the game is different. That's why you don't see and you haven't seen a running back taken because of the abuse that they take and how quickly they can go out. I mean, how many teams now are stacking 3 running backs deep?
Yeah.
You saw the Cowboys. They're going, that's going to be a problem. They got too many running backs. And then what do you know?
They're using them.
Yeah, they're using them. They're all getting used.
Well, because they get these big, beefy running backs they can be able to use as blockers, too, and you don't really know who's going to run the ball. Because now, if you look at the Cowboys, I mean, every one of their running backs was huge dudes.
Yeah.
Even Ezekiel could be able to block like a tight end if he wanted to.
Yeah, that was what he was known for. He was a great blocking running back. So you got the duel in there.
Does Saquon Barkley have that ability to be able to block like that?
Yeah, I think he's pretty decent blocking running back.
That's the question.
They're not going to take him if he's not number 1.
Are we making too much out of Saquon Barkley though, to where he has one really good weekend where he puts up some nice numbers and some workouts, and now all of a sudden, like you said, he may have just won himself like $20 million.
Well, I just wonder why he had so many games where he just it was like getting 60 yards for a guy like that. Because remember, he was firmly entrenched as the Heisman favorite in the first half of the season.
Yeah,
and then the back half of the season, and when you've got marquee games like the Ohio State game where you do even run a kick back, but you don't crack 100 yards on the ground. I mean, against a decent, pretty good run defense, but still, that I think ultimately is the question because that Ohio State defense he faced is going to be what you're going to see every single week in the NFL.
Exactly. That's
the big question mark.
When you go against, Ohio State, Oklahoma, the big teams who are in the playoffs.
Yeah.
That's the closest you're going to get to an NFL defense. And I hate the knee-jerk reactions. I really do.
But when you disappear in college in those games,
right?
I mean, you're not doing your job if you don't ask that question. Say, okay, could we see the exact same thing happen in the NFL? Why does he shrink? Unless he's running back a kick in these games.
Well, that's the thing is it also is like you're saying that's the closest thing to an NFL. So now you take that and then you amplify that about 1 billion times.
Yeah, you're right.
The best player on that team is now every player on the other team.
Yeah.
Very different.
Yeah, so that's just it. I mean, just because he's great in college and because he's got physicality off the charts at the combines, I make him a number 1 pick.
Now, frankly, I love Saquon Barkley. I'm just going to throw that out there. Watching him during the season playing actual football, I loved him. I think he's super talented.
Yeah.
He's strong. He's fast. He has all of like the new running back intangibles that you look for. I don't put too much stock in the combine stuff. It kind of proves my point a little bit, how athletic he is and how strong he is.
Literally what I've been saying the entire time.
Yes, I know. That's fine.
What do you think? For you, what's the better
Steal my
story
point.
from the combine? Do you like the Saquon Barkley story better, or do you like this linebacker out of UCF?
Oh, Scream Griffin.
Oh, yes.
Hands down. Oh, I mean, I didn't mean to say
Come
it.
on.
I didn't, no, I didn't mean
Really? You're going
I
to say
didn't mean
hands
that.
down?
I didn't mean that. I would have just, you know what I meant? Hand down. That's what I
Great
meant
choice.
to say.
Yeah, great choice. They're so insensitive.
Ricky, what are you doing? He has one hand.
All right, then.
Come
So
on.
I think he's a much better. I mean, dude, he was incredible this year. Incredible.
Yeah.
And what he's able to do, and then, I mean, obviously, he's very fast. He said he was going for six reps. What was it, 275?
They put him at 225. Everybody does the
225.
same. He did 20 reps at 225.
He was going for 6.
And he did pretty well.
20. Because I think I went over it a little bit.
I mean, you got to understand. Yeah. You got to understand. They put a prosthetic latch on the bar when he's doing a bench press,
Right,
and he
yeah, so he
attaches
can do
his
it.
arm, and that way he can actually bench press. And he's benching 225 pounds 20 times like that.
Never cost him, playing in the games. I mean, he was absolutely fantastic.
Yes.
He was the defensive player of the year, 92 tackles, 11.5 sacks, an interception, 2 forced fumbles. So you're like, okay, you can do it.
It's pretty incredible. And then on top of that, he almost didn't get invited to the NFL Combine.
Yeah. That's probably the best. That's the one I like. So I think we all like, that small town boy kind of like story, and it's UCF. And so, yeah.
Did you ever hear the story about when he was a kid about with his hand? Because he had a hand at one point
he did.
in time.
Yeah.
And when he was a little kid, he tried to cut it off.
Really?
Yeah. So then they finally, when they got surgery to get it removed.
'Cause I think he
Goodness.
dealt with pain. I think there was pain because he had a congenital condition and he had to have it amputated at 4.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
Unbelievable.
So, and then he and his brother played together and just, an amazing career out of that. Roger
nuts.
Goodell actually put himself on the 40-yard dash. He ran a 5.41.
It's not bad.
Which is really good.
In a suit.
I think I did, in a suit. I think I did it one time at 5.6. And
Did you?
So, yeah, I need to go work harder. I can't let Roger Goodell beat me in a suit.
We got to make a point of this now.
Yeah.
Let's give you like maybe a month to work up to it.
Yeah.
Maybe on draft day we'll have you run a 40-yard dash.
I got to beat Goodell.
You got to beat him.
Yeah, I will rip my hammy right out. I mean, it will be a brutally awful injury.
Just
but I'm going to do it, baby.
Just work your way up to it. You got about a month and a half or so.
You're going to be doing the show remote from a hospital room.
No, to me, the Jarvis Landry story, there's nothing. I don't feel like we have any more conclusion one way or the other as to whether he's going to be at the Dolphins than what we knew last week. Nothing. He says he's going to be signing, the tag, but
Yeah.
I mean, it doesn't mean anything, right?
No,
and so
I mean,
anything could still happen.
Yeah, because I mean, I think he's really happy with the amount of money he's making because of the gigantic upgrade of what he was doing before. But
Yeah.
I mean, he says that his people have talked to up to 5 teams. So who knows?
And do I get excited about this? The Rams sending Pro Bowl defensive lineman Robert Quinn to the Dolphins. Do you get excited about that?
I saw it Friday night, and for about 15 seconds, I was like, oh, wow, that's really cool. They have
Yeah.
a guy who can play on the end, and then I was over it.
Okay.
So maybe like 15 seconds, you can get excited.
8 sacks, 15 games. He played in only 17 games of the previous 2 years, and that right there is your red flag. This guy
injury prone.
he does not log a lot of games.
Well, I mean, I
He's
think
going to fit in right here with Miami.
I think he's perfect, honestly.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, it kind of works out. I feel like Dolphins fans are just never excited about anything.
Yeah, that's kind of like, so I was initially enthusiastic, and then after that, just kind of fell apart on that.
It's just, it's a Dolphin.
It's kind of what it is, right?
There is a name in South Florida football, though, I tell you, you probably right now, you know it because of the name itself, but this name will make a name for himself this season. It'll be one of the biggest things we talk about come the fall, guaranteed. I'll tell you about it next.
Stop. No. Kevin's other show.
The KVJ.
Don't tell those other guys. 640 The Hurricane.
Who thinks they can hit the high notes?
It's not me.
Come on, Ricky. Oh, not bad.
Get it.
Okay, that's a lot better than me. Yeah.
Wasn't terrible. I'll give you that.
Guys, I love having Lane Kiffin in South Florida.
Oh, it's the
Yeah.
best, isn't it?
Oh, I know he's really, this is going to be the last fall we're going to have him. I don't know. I'm bracing myself. I know there's
But Kev, you signed a 10-year deal.
There's
Come
zero
on.
chance
Yeah,
he lives out
10
that 10-year
years.
deal. There's zero chance of that. But, I guess we just say, hey, every year you got the Lane train, and Boca is a good year. But there's a couple names, man. I was really sad to see that, he'd lost last year's offensive coordinator because, I think he was just solid. I loved the offense that they were running last year.
Yeah.
I mean, you had Kendall Briles, a big name in offense, but you get it. He goes back to Houston and he's familiar with and is out of here. So you're like,
Makes sense.
what could possibly even come close to what they had in Kendall Briles? I'm like, whatever it's going to be is going to be a big step down. But then I started reading this story, a name but not because of anything he's done. His dad, Charlie Weiss Jr.
Aha.
Yes, Charlie Weiss Sr., the former Patriots offensive coordinator, flopped coach at Notre Dame.
Yeah.
Really failed coach at Kansas.
Yeah, he was at Kansas.
Yeah, just I mean, it was just one massive tumble after another. And now I think Charlie Weiss Sr., he must be around here. I saw him, a photo of him out at polo or show jumping, I think it was, a couple weeks ago in Wellington. So he kicks around here. And I don't know if it's because his son, Charlie Weiss Jr., is now the new offensive coordinator at FAU.
Is Charlie Weiss, has he lost some weight there? Is that?
I
was like,
he's enjoying retirement.
He's kind of a classic fat guy. I mean,
Classic, yes. Yeah, no, he's not losing that title anytime soon.
He had for a little while, though. He had that stomach
started-
staple surgery, right?
You know what?
started
He
to-
beat it. He conquered it. Congratulations, dude.
He's one of the few.
it's like him and Governor Christie.
I had gastric bypass and I beat it.
Yeah.
I mean, he beat the hell out of it. I mean, he just.
Christie's stomach ate the lap band.
At
That's
that
what
point,
happened.
your doc's like, I got nothing.
I
I
guess
mean,
it-
there's nothing left.
Eat
I
a
got-
salad, USOB.
There's nothing I can do. There's nothing left, man.
Oh, I
That's
really
it.
hope he's not listening right now.
So his son, impressive. I've got a lot of optimism about this Charlie Weiss Jr., and here's why you should too. He is the youngest coordinator in college football at the age of 24.
That's ridiculous.
24 years old. Now, his dad arguably, I don't know how much credit you want to give him for a Patriot Super Bowl. I mean, you got Belichick that's not going to let him go too far off the line. You got Tom Brady that is, the one that's your play caller. Or you're the guy that's running the plays.
Yeah.
So here you've got Charlie Weiss Jr. There's a couple things that, one, the endorsements coming from names like Bill Belichick and Nick Saban, and these guys are saying this kid is going to be something. He's like an idiot savant of football. Photographic memory. In fact, when he went to Alabama, which is where Lane Kiffin first was introduced to him, Lane Kiffin's doing an interview with him. He says, I hear you have photographic memory. And Charlie Weiss Jr. is like, yeah. So Lane's like, okay, here's my wallet. Take a look at my driver's license. Take a look at all my credit cards, and I want you to memorize them. 5 minutes later, he takes them back, and Charlie Weiss Jr. regurgitates all the information, all the way down to the credit card number and the little pin on the back.
Oh, my goodness.
The next day, Lane Kiffin asks him, says, hey, what's my credit card number? He spits it right back out.
Jeez.
So this is a guy that's got unbelievable memory, and apparently his dedication is to football. And they say that he can, remember 20 plays in a row, like where the ball was, hash mark, this, that, what was called. And it's just, he's a Rolodex of football knowledge.
That's crazy.
Apparently they say that his instincts on top of it are absolutely phenomenal. So I don't know. He was with Steve Sarkisian, another Saban dude, is Atlanta's. He was with the Falcons last year before he got him. He's been with Saban before, and he's got some pretty good credentials under his belt. Was with his dad, and in 2011 he was an intern for Muschamp at Florida. So he's been to some big programs. He's been around some major football, and he's got some major names that are endorsing him. So I don't know. Is it going to take a step back, FAU's offense, this next year? I'm kind of optimistic that maybe it's not.
You just kind of sold me on Charlie Weiss Jr. I mean, my goodness. It's 2011, so what? That's 7 years ago. He was 18.
Yeah, absolutely.
As an assistant. He was out of high school as an assistant with the Gators, right? That was where Muschamp was.
Right.
In 2011. That's unbelievable.
Came right out. They say he's that phenomenal that it's not just because of his dad that his dad obviously plugs him in, but
Right.
the kid is living up to the hype, and people love to see him, and they say he's going to be a major coach one day.
I mean, it doesn't hurt when you grow around it, obviously. You see somebody like Mike Shula, different situations like that where your dad is a legendary coach. But, I mean, it sounds like, from what you're saying, he's ready to kind of blaze his own trail.
Sounds like it. I mean, hey, and you've still got, and they haven't figured out exactly who's going to be calling the plays. Is it going to be Kiffin? Is it going to be so? But he's going to be there, and I'm sure Kiffin will say, hey, the more trust he gets. But if you were slightly worried about FAU's offense taking a step back, don't, because they've got Devin Singletary's coming back. He rushed for almost 2,000 yards last year, led the nation with 32 rushing touchdowns. You're going to see some amazing offense that's their quarterback position. I think even with Driscoll leaving, I think is going to be better with who you got coming in. You got that kid from FSU, and you got a transfer coming in from Oklahoma. And they're pretty much saying that that's why Driscoll took off, because he knew he had zero chance of winning the starting job.
Yeah,
even after what happened last year. So he's like, you know what? I'm just going to call it a career. It was good. I walk out a winner, and that's it.
He was done.
Matters.
And, of course, Lane Kiffin getting his specialty of getting the guys from all the junior colleges coming from Oklahoma and whatnot.
That's smart, man.
Absolutely.
No, you got to love it.
It's
great.
Smart. Every article about this kid is Lane Kiffin about to release prodigy on college football.
This kid's going to take the world by storm.
That's what they're saying.
Man.
They think that it's going to be insane what you're going to see in Boca Raton next year. And he's taking over the top scoring and rushing offense with all the weapons back in Conference USA from last year. So it should be an even more exciting year. And I tell you what, they start off at Oklahoma.
Right.
Yeah, that's right.
A team that's got to, fill in a little bit of holes here and there. But, I mean, if they have an exciting challenge for Oklahoma waiting, run up some points, there's going to be a lot of hype in Boca Raton for this team.
Hey, listen, what was Oklahoma's biggest knock on them last year getting into the playoffs?
Defense.
And this is a team we talk about
Yeah.
in FAU.
Absolutely.
I mean, no joke, no exaggeration. They were putting up 50 points a game last season.
If they drop, let's say they come out and they drop a 35 or a 42 on Oklahoma, and they lose even by 14 points still at that, you're going to be like, wow, look out for this Owls team.
I think that really matters. It doesn't even make a difference whether they win the game. It's just a matter of the amount of points they're able to put up on a decent team like that. Because, I mean, even though they dropped a lot of points on a lot of different teams last year, it was like a lot of them were so-so teams.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So,
but still, you got to put the points on the board.
I get that, but I mean, if you think about it, some of the teams,
Listen,
Tulsa
don't-
and stuff like this,
Don't be a
but if
foul
you drop,
owl,
right.
no,
okay?
but if you drop
42 on
45 or
Oklahoma,
42
yeah.
on
Oklahoma.
Oklahoma and even lose, that's commendable.
Yeah.
from a team that nobody even knew about.
No,
before.
for sure.
You'll come back to Boca like heroes. It'll be be a big win.
Oh, yeah.
And this is why I love Lane Kiffin, not only just for the offenses that he's bringing, but just stuff like this too. Talking about exactly how he winds up hiring his assistant coaches. He said, basically what he does, and he's talking about Charlie Weiss Jr., he's got a beautiful wife. How'd Charlie get her? I look at assistant coaches' wives, and it tells me
Of course he does.
if they're going to be good recruiters or not.
That's the first thing I looked up when I looked up Charlie Weiss Jr. is look at his wife.
She hot?
Yeah,
Is she?
Real hot.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay. All right.
Good for him.
I mean, maybe there's something to it. That's what he says. James Franklin had said something similar, by the way, back in 2012, so we can't totally steal it.
Yeah, but this is Lane Kiffin.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a little different. I just love how we can take that part of the quote and say, I look at other coaches' wives. If we just stop it there, I think that's fantastic.
Well, I know they can recruit. I know that they are persuasive, that they can play above their game and get something that's impressive.
Yeah,
So
yeah, exactly.
we'll see. Is this dude going to be the real deal coming up next year? Something to look forward to. Real deal, baby. Panthers, are they going to make the playoffs or not? They came off a great hot run we'll tell you about. And who's the next South Florida golfer to win a major championship? I think we got a name we need to really start talking more about. I'll tell you about next.
Be part of the show on Twitter at 640 The Hurricane, hashtag Kevin's Other Show.
How about them Panthers?
Unbelievable, really
You
unbelievable.
believing yet?
I mean, now at this
Believing?
point in time, 6 games in a row, I'm believing.
It's looking pretty good, man. Get them in. Now, you were saying right now, if they get in as the 8th seed, they're looking at taking on the Lightning. Would that be right?
Yeah,
in
they're
the first round?
they're 1 point behind Columbus. They're better wins and loss columns, but they're 1 point behind Columbus. And then if they make it in, they'll be doing the top seed Eastern team, which would be Tampa Bay, which is a conference rivalry, not a conference rivalry, a division rivalry.
Yeah.
Yes.
So they beat the Flyers, BB&T, yesterday, 4-1, 6 win in a row. So they are absolutely red hot.
It's insane.
Yeah. I mean, what they're doing is fantastic. So, they're going to make it or not. I guess stick around, find out. How many more games do they have left? And you say they actually have more than, is it Columbus? They've got actually more games coming up than Columbus?
19 games, right, for the Panthers?
It's Columbus has 16 games remaining, and the Florida Panthers have 19 games. And they've been pretty good at home. I want to say they've been good both sides, but the 19 games for the Panthers means that they could screw up a couple and still be able to make it because they got a 3-game lead on Columbus, which is awesome. That's like a great position, and they're getting hot at the right time. And I think that's what really matters is that it doesn't make a difference if you get hot early on in the season. If you get hot right now when you're right in the hunt, this is exactly where you need to start playing the best because you get right into that ramp, and then you get into the playoffs and you dominate.
I think hockey, even more than baseball, you got really excited there. I tried to overlook it. Man, you got excited.
Did he Thor hammer
Yeah,
there?
I got really excited.
My goodness.
It's nice to see them, do really well. Very happy for him.
You're going to be really excited if the Panthers make the playoffs.
Happy for him.
No, that's good.
What's the % chance you say they're making the playoffs?
I think they're going to do it. I mean, the way that they're playing is absolutely incredible. I was saying, like, what we were talking about before with the All-Star, like, Barkov made it in, but Huberdeau, Barkov, Trocheck, all of them playing well. Luongo coming back. 39 saves in the last game. He's been out of control, and the team has been playing in such a cohesiveness. It's been nuts.
Yeah.
This guy is the Charlie Weiss Jr. of hockey.
I love it, man. He's
right?
bringing the fire. He's bringing the passion.
This is good stuff.
Bringing
I'm
the
just
passion.
so happy for him.
I would say hockey, out of all the sports, even more than baseball, you always talk about getting hot in baseball at the right time. There's just something about hockey. When you get hot just at the right time, it just has that carryover effect.
It's the same thing with
into the
basketball
playoffs.
because basketball shares the same amount of games. It's 82 games. But not
Right.
only that, what's so exciting about this is that playoff hockey, out of all playoffs,
I'm telling you.
football, is really intense, but playoff hockey is so intense.
Yes.
And
Yeah.
that to be able to get a team that's from your hometown to
Yeah.
be in there,
It's fun.
It's not, and you never watch more hockey in your life. It's great for the city.
Cool day, too. They had the Stoneman Douglas
Yes.
high school hockey team that was out there before the game at the BB&T Center yesterday. So really cool stuff that was going on as you continue to see stuff about that. Last night, a couple name drops on the Oscars for Stoneman Douglas.
I heard that.
Talking about that. And at Rib Roundup on Saturday, had some students from Stoneman Douglas on stage, and a really amazing tribute that happened there.
Yeah, one of our local acts, her drummer, Maggie Ball's drummer, actually, his name is Max Gagerson, and he was in the school when it happened.
Oh, no way.
Yeah, so he popped on stage with everybody, a couple other survivors and friends that he knew and stuff like that. It was intense. Very intense.
It was an amazing night. So thanks, everybody that came out to the Rib Roundup on Saturday. Really cool stuff with Jake Owen and Luke Combs, who, by the way, throughout the first pitch at the ballpark on Saturday, throws high, by the way.
Asked him about it. He goes, nailed it. I go, I heard
No,
you
he
threw.
did not.
I swear.
He
goes, right down the middle. I go, I heard you threw high. He looked
Right
at,
down the
He
middle,
looked at
like-
me like I had 7 heads. I'm like,
No. All right.
I heard you threw high.
Okay. No, he went high.
All right, so who had a better first pitch, you or Luke Combs?
I went. They were both clearly, both of them were balls, but I went. Mine was a feasible pitch. Like that could have been something. Whoever wouldn't have been the batter, and you wouldn't even look to swing. It's a definite ball. Mine might have got somebody chasing it.
Kev had a better
I had
first pitch than Luke
than
Combs.
Luke Combs.
Good.
Yeah, absolutely. I'll
Good for
debate that
you.
all day long. I'll take him on that. But the one thing
I think
did,
he will too. He'll be like, yeah, you could take the pitch, pal.
the one thing I did notice though, he got he got like a name catcher. He got like the starting catcher, and I got like some bullpen guy.
Oh, come on.
You got 1B.
Yeah, I got some. I got like a high school kid that pulled out of the stands to catch my first pitch.
You had the catcher.
One
Oh,
of
yeah.
the sea creatures they fired from Miami Marlins. That's what happened.
I noticed right away. I'm like, oh, okay. I see how you get the name catchers around here.
He's
Gonna
wearing
be a big country star.
99 and a half.
Yeah.
When you're going to pitch to him.
That's what I had. One thing that with everything going on, you had conference tournaments going on. Pretty interesting. The Big Ten, see what happened there with Michigan. Did not see them running through.
No, Michigan State, Purdue, both get knocked out.
Yeah, well, Michigan took them all out and pounded Purdue too. I mean, a lot of people are saying that's a legit Final Four contender right there in Michigan. So
Yeah, and I'm
don't snooze
scared.
on them.
I'm scared now.
Yeah, they're looking good. But, with everything that happened late in the day yesterday, I just so happened to look in and say, hey, what's going on? Were they even playing golf this weekend? And it was the WGG Mexico Championship. And one name right, the leaderboard, the playoff with Phil Mickelson, Justin Thomas back.
Again.
Your Honda Classic winner. I'm like, all right, wait a minute.
No goose this time.
No, it's all legit. He's what, 24, 26, something like that?
Yeah, he's a young guy.
Young dude, crushing it week in and week out. And, I think we saw Tiger at the Honda Classic, everybody's like going, okay, when's he going to start winning, getting some playoff stuff going on here? Is he going to win that next major? Is that going to come up this year? But who would you say, out of what we have in South Florida, who's got the best odds for you of winning the next major? To me, I got to put Justin Thomas up there. If I had to put money down on somebody and you're saying, okay, let's go Masters, who's got the best chance of the Masters? Justin Thomas, Dustin Johnson, Rory McIlroy, Ricky Fowler, or Tiger Woods?
I tell you who it's
You got to bet your house on that.
I tell you who it's not. Right quick. Tiger.
No, what you say? No way.
No way in hell.
You don't think he's?
He is a golf novelty now.
You're so negative. Why are you so
He
negative?
is, man. He's a golf novelty.
He's okay. He's last. So if you're putting him in order, who's got the best chance? We got 5 South Florida golfers here. You put Tiger Woods last. Who do you put first?
I probably put either Justin Thomas or Ricky Fowler.
Okay.
It's kind of tough. I mean,
are we right? So we're writing off Rory McIlroy right now.
yeah, I think Ricky Fowler's due.
Okay. Dustin Johnson just too distracted by a hot wife.
Well, that's
It's always an issue, honestly, when it comes to golf. It's a lot of distraction.
have
there.
you seen his wife?
Diener, who you got? Who's got the best odds to win a major championship? South Florida golfers.
I mean, it's easy to say Justin Thomas, and I kind of think that's where it is because he's been hot. I mean, you talk about guys getting hot at the right time.
Right. Yeah.
Masters coming up.
He's leading right into it,
He
man.
is.
He's getting so close. On this one, he wins last week. It's like, what? You think he's all of a sudden going to get to the Masters and just not be able to perform?
Just fall off. I want to see Tiger do it just to prove Ricky Bobby wrong.
Okay.
Screw you.
All right. He says it ain't happening. All right, man. Want to sound off? You can. Kevin at 640thehurricane.com. You can do that. You can also get through to us anytime, too, on the 640 The Hurricane app. Just jump on there and leave us some audio, baby, and we'll check it out.
You listened to him on the KVJ show for years. Every time he tried to talk sports, he'd get shut down. After years of begging, we finally gave in. Brought to you by Wellington Anti-Aging. Low T? Go to WellingtonAntiAging.com. And by Bremen Motor Cars in West Palm Beach. A world-class experience. Shop BremenPorsche.com now. It's Kevin's Other Show on 640 The Hurricane.